Today we'll be working with a fairly large data set in Excel and putting it into SPSS and then running some basic descriptive statistics on a variable of interest. What I've done is I put the dataset fire response, which is located in the datasets and codebooks section of Blackboard, onto the desktop. Let's go ahead and open that up. It is a fairly large file, so it may take your computer more than a couple seconds to upload. It may take actually a couple minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and open it from its location in the desktop. You'll get the output screen, and this can you can just leave it up or you can minimize it. I just leave it up, and then SPSS should pop up once it has loaded all of the data and variables. It will take a couple minutes depending upon your computer screen or computer speed, because it is such a large data set. During this time, go ahead and open the fire response codebook. I had downloaded it to my computer. This is what a typical codebook will look like. This is a data set of El Paso Fire Department emergency responses for a particular year, and all of the variable labels or names that you'll see in the SPSS screenshots. You'll see that we go from the incident, which is the particular emergency, which station responded. The time of the incident is coded by morning, daytime, evening, or graveyard. Everything from the type of apparatus, emergency apparatus used that responded to the emergency. And what we're really interested in is the variable response time, total response time, how long it took the fire personnel from the time that they received the emergency dispatch from the 911 operators until the time that they arrived on scene. In your homework, you'll be dealing with turnout time, which is the time in seconds from when the fire personnel received the emergency dispatch from 911 operators until they actually leave the fire station. So the data set we're dealing with is emergency responses when the fire personnel were only in the station, not when they were already out in the streets of El Paso. So by now the data set should be uploaded. You can see all the variable names in the columns. If you scroll all the way down, you'll be able to see why it took so long for the data set to upload is because we had a total of 106,671 observations. So these are all emergency responses ranging from car accidents, medical emergencies, fires, service calls for the El Paso Fire Department. What we want to do is run some basic descriptive statistics on a particular variable of interest. Most fire departments and emergency responders are really interested in response time and decreasing response times. So if we want to find out what the average and median response times are, we can easily do that in SPSS. Simply go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, and then Explore. We're interested in emergency response time, so if you go back to your code book, you'll see that the variable name for total response time is response. So we're looking for the variable labeled response. Here are all of the variables in this data set that's in SPSS. Response is towards the bottom. So we're going to move response over to the dependent list. We're going to be interested in the descriptive statistics of total response time. Click the statistics box and double check to make sure that descriptives is checked. In this case, the default settings has it checked. Go ahead and click continue and then click OK. And it may take a bit of time to run due to the size of the data set. And the output window pops up and shows you the output. What they give you is the total number of observations that it ran the analysis on. So 106,671, which was the total number of observations as we saw at the beginning of the video. SPSS will also give you a lot of information. Some of it you need, some of it you won't need. The mean response time is reported here at the top. You see the variable name is response, and they report all kinds of descriptive statistics of that variable. So the average response time or mean response time for the El Paso Fire Department was 363 and a third seconds almost. So slightly over 363 seconds to get to an emergency. The median you see is 339 seconds. So from here, you can pretty much figure out whether there's positive or negative skew. You've got a mean that's 363 seconds and a median that's 339. So there's probably some positive outliers, some response times that took an exceptionally long time that pulls that mean towards it. From here, it gives you a lot of other information. We won't look at that. It's just too cluttered and it's too much. What to focus on with these descriptive statistics is the N, total number of observations, the mean, and the median. What you can do with this output window, you can either save it directly to your desktop. You can cut and paste these tables by, that's editing the tables. But you can highlight the table, as you see it's there, and cut and paste it, any of the tables that you want cut and pasted. You may be interested in going back to your data. All that you have to do is simply minimize the window and your data pops back up. So SPSS is going to operate in two windows. If you want to run other analysis, you can directly run analyses in the output window. You see SPSS is up, so you can do Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Explore, and you can look at different variables that you're interested in. I usually just minimize the output window and then go back to the SPSS data set that looks like the Excel spreadsheet, run more analysis, and what will happen is the additional analysis will pop up at the bottom of your output window. If you click X, it will ask you to save the contents. If you say no, then you've lost your output and you will lose your graphs. If you put yes, it'll ask you to save it to a place on your computer. We'll cancel that. So again, when you're working with SPSS and you're doing data analysis and you have more than one piece of information you want to do, what I do is just simply minimize that output window and then go back to the data and run more analysis, and it just tacks it on below. If you're not interested in saving it, just simply click X, save contents. We're going to say no for now. And then when you're done with SPSS, you can click X. It'll tell you that you're going to exit SPSS statistics. We'll say yes, since that's what we want to do. Save changes to the data set. We've not manipulated the data in terms of recoding variables, so we just want to keep the data in its normal form, or its original form, so go ahead and click no. And then you're out of SPSS, and you can upload different data sets from now by rerunning and reopening SPSS.